The Chicago Bulls and Milwaukee Bucks are now 1-1 after Chicago defeated Milwaukee. We talked about MJ making his debut with the Bulls 40 years ago to this day. Well, the night before, on October 25th, Coby White just put on his best Michael Jordan impression. He had 35 points, 6 boards, 7 assists, 4 steals. It was a great game for him, and I think Coby White is definitively the point guard for the Chicago Bulls moving forward, not just now, but in terms to their long-term future. Obviously, Lonzo Ball is a solid contributing NBA player that can make winning plays constantly, right? But I think the way this team is currently constructed, from everything we've seen for Coby White, whether it was last year's real breakout campaign, I think he should have been the most improved player in the league. Or started this year, Coby White is the guy for the Chicago Bulls. This was someone who took a while to get acquainted to the NBA game. He was a prospect I was fairly high on, but it took him a while to figure it out. He had a solid first couple of years, and then his production and minutes kind of continually declined until last year, where he got back into action, averaged 19 points a game. That was about a 10-point jump from the season before. And now he's carried that over into this season, and it's great to see. I don't think he should win Most Improved Player this year unless he's averaging like 25, just because I think last year was his year to win it, and at this point, it's a shame that we're not going to get to recognize him for it. However, this is Coby White All-Star year, if anything. Forget Most Improved. This is the year where Coby White really proved himself. Because Chicago, you need to commit to the rebuild. You got rid – DeMar DeRozan's gone. Now it's time to get Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic out of here and commit to a new, young era in Chicago. Because you've got guys like Coby White, like Ayo Dosunmu, who really, Dosunmu, in terms of what he does, he's not really that far off from Coby, because Dosunmu is a really solid role player for the Chicago Bulls right now. And Coby, obviously, he's better, but the gap isn't that much in terms of what they can do. I think Dosunmu has a lot of potential. Coby should get the green light, but shout out to Ayo as well. And Ayo's a hometown kid too, so that's great to see. But for this Bulls team, I think you do have a solid young core if you were, especially, in the backcourt, if you were to blow things up. With the Bulls, the biggest issue is kind of being stuck in mediocrity, and you can make an argument that Coby might be too good at this point for them to be in mediocrity once again if they rebuilt around them. But at this point, you do have solid young guys. You don't have to absolutely get the first number 1 overall pick. If you can get some solid, like 5, 6, 7, that kind of area in terms of the draft. Last year was a bad draft, but this coming year it's going to be a lot better. And this was kind of an outlier because in recent years we've seen really hyped up NBA draft class, and we've seen really talented prospects coming in. So for the Bulls, they're going to be able to get more and more talented guys in later spots compared to this year. So if you are able to get rid of a guy like Zach LaVine, I don't know who's going to take him, right, in terms of a trade, just because of that contract for what he does as a player. But if you are able to move off Zach LaVine, even if Coby White keeps you in, maybe 8 to 10 seeding, and that you can make the argument, the Bulls front office might make the argument that, hey, why don't we just keep Zach if we're going to be stuck in mediocrity anyways? At least, hey, we'll have another good player, right? However, by getting rid of Zach LaVine, that creates opportunities for other guys on that team too. So even if you're in the same position seating-wise, you have a brighter future because you're not holding on to Zach LaVine on contract that's really just not worth his value at this point. So for the Bulls, it's time to rebuild around Coby White, around Ayo Dosunmu, around Matas Buzelis. The future is bright if they are finally to commit to the rebuild right now. The seating might look the same, but the context is so much different by giving the green light to other guys and not keeping Zach LaVine around, because at this point he kind of has peaked in terms of what we have seen from him as a player.